Are you serious? Are you serious? Something biblical is going on with the signs.
Are you serious?
Of the second coming of Christ? No doubt about it. Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. This is the coming apocalypse. And today we're going to talk about the Black Horsemen of the apocalypse. We have breaking news coming out of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is collapsing. No question. It is collapsing, and there is chaos in the streets. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. But first, let me put a shout out right now for www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. The keto diet. Check this out, guys. Many people today are struggling to manage their weight. But this is even more true than ever. After the age of 20, this is because after you're 20 years old, our body's metabolism slows down by as much as 4% every decade. That's a major risk to our health. Luckily, there's ways to help get that fast metabolism back and to do it in time for summer. Amazing keto, the amazing keto diet, taking the ingredients from that diet and making the amazing keto powder, for example. Help me lose weight faster than anything, folks. And it can change your life. It works by increasing the ketone levels inside your body, which in turn supports a boosted metabolism. With just a single scoop in the soup, put it in the smoothie. This tasteless, this odorless, it's ageless. You'll be ageless. It's amazing. And you'll see big improvements on your metabolism and weight loss. Look, folks, I may have just unlocked the real door, and you can save 51% off the cost. Order it today. Go to www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. You'll be very glad you did, I promise. Well, listen to this. All right, so Sri Lanka is collapsing. People are starving. The power is out. It's getting very ugly. Sri Lanka is collapsing. People are starving. There's no gas, no electricity, and now the army starts shooting at them. This is when you know that the Black Horseman of the apocalypse is in full gallop if you live in Sri Lanka. Maybe not in the whole world, but in Sri Lanka, the Black Horseman of the apocalypse is there and galloping. And matter of fact, here's what we're finding out about this situation. Sri Lanka, people are starving. The gas is out. There's been no gasoline. Can't get no diesel. There's no electricity. And now the army is starting to shoot the people in the streets. Sri Lanka is quite literally collapsing. Now they are rioting, and the military are gunning people down. Wouldn't be surprised if that reality even spreads beyond Sri Lanka, maybe to the United States or beyond, even into the UK and all Western countries in the next few years. Sri Lanka's military opened fire to contain rioting at a fuel station, officials said on Sunday, as an unprecedented queues for petrol and the lack of diesel and petrol were seen across this bankrupt country. Troops fired north of Colombo, Sri Lanka, on Saturday night as their guard point was pelted with stones, Army spokesman is saying. A group of 20 to 30 people started pelting with stones the Army trucks. Police said 4 civilians and 3 soldiers were wounded when the Army opened fire for the first time to stop the unrest in the streets that is worsening and worse in chaos and economic crisis. As the pumps run out of petrol, motorists began to protest, and the situation escalated into a clash with troops. Sri Lanka is suffering its worst economic crisis since its independence. With the country, it's unable to find dollars to import essentials, including food, fuel, and medicines. This is a nation of 22 million people. it has been enduring acute shortages and long scarcity of supplies, while their president has for months resisted calls to step down over mismanagement of the government. Sri Lanka has deployed armed police and troops to guard the fuel stations. A motorist was shot dead by police at the central town when a clash erupted over the distribution of ration fuel and diesel. Now, the government has declared a 2-week shutdown of state institutions and schools in a bid to reduce community and conserve depleting fuel stocks in an impoverished nation. The country is also facing record high inflation. Sound familiar? And lengthy power blackouts. Here we go. All of which have contributed to months of protests. And 4 out of 5 people that live in Sri Lanka have started skipping meals as they cannot afford to eat. The United Nations has said, warning of a looming dire humanitarian crisis. Millions are in need of aid. The World Food Program by the United Nations began distributing food vouchers to about 2,000 pregnant women in Colombo's underserved areas as part of a life-saving assistance. And the World Food Program is trying to raise $60 million for the food relief effort between June and December. Problem is, that's the exact amount, $60 million is the exact amount that came up missing when Kofi Annan, remember him? Kofi Annan? He was the Secretary General of the United Nations. His son was managing the World Food Program, and $60 million come up missing out of Africa. Now they need $60 million for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has defaulted on its $51 billion foreign debt back in April and is in talks within the International Monetary Fund for a bailout. Meanwhile, every day, always more people start protesting about the inflation across the European nation. Not only is there inflation, but there's lack of food distribution, running out of oil and diesel, and running out of electricity or electricity rolling blackouts. This is insane. And folks, you'll start to see this if we don't get let me just tell you something. I was just listening to a guy who was doing a really good job. He was explaining the cost of food. He was explaining the cost of food that we're about ready to experience here in the United States. I'm going to read from the Bible, Revelation 6, in just a moment here. But this man said these words. He said he had a farmer who raises cattle out west. And the lady said, you see this bale of hay? Last year, this cost $4 for a bale of hay and $6 for some grain to feed the cows. Last year, $4 for a bale of hay, $6 for this grain. Today, $25 for the same bale of hay, $24 for the same amount of grain. Hay has quadrupled in price. More than that, it's 5 times. Hay is 5 times higher, and grain is 4 times higher, and that's what it's costing to feed the cattle. So let me ask you a question. There's going to be farmers out there who are going to say, I can't do this. I'm just going to wait till things get better and change. I can't go out and buy the food at these prices and feed these cattle. And then when it's time to go to market, will the prices, okay, what will be the price of meat? What price will I get? Or is it going to come all back down? And then I'm left holding the bag, working for an entire year with a huge herd and making nothing or losing money. When put in that jam, small farmers may just say, I'm not gonna have any cattle this year. I'll wait. Other farmers will do it. And that means there's going to be less meat going to the market. So already the price of meat will be high due to the high price of hay and grains. But then throw in the domino effect, as you just said, Angel D. Throw in the domino effect, not only of high prices for the wheat and for the grain, or the wheat and the barley, as it says in the Bible, but also throw in the fact that there's less supply of it, which will then raise that price more. And then throw in the inflation factor, which will even increase it more. And you will actually start seeing a rotisserie chicken that normally you could have bought in normal times at your Kroger store for $4.99, a Kroger chicken. Folks, this time next year, they predict that same rotisserie chicken will be $25. And there won't be as many of them to pick from. So the number of people will not be able to eat meat. You will not be able to afford ground beef, pork, beef, or chicken. So people will, and that means the price of fish is going to go up. Cindy Jackson says, no, Pastor, it's already $8. Okay, so we're beyond normal times. You're right. It was $4.99. That was normal times. Now they're $8, going to $25 by this time next year. And get this. So when the meat runs out, people will look for protein substitutes. They're going to turn to beans. They're going to turn to peanut butter, which now there's a shortage on peanut butter. They're going to turn to nuts and things like that. They're going to try hummus. They're going to try to figure out a way to get protein other directions. Spam will become probably the number one selling meat item in America. Mike Around the World predicted that 4 years ago. I actually almost took off laughing. Wait a minute. I got to get this call. Hello, can I help you? Okay, 1 second, Lisa. Let me pause a radio show I'm doing. Give me 1 second. I'll put it on music. Guys, I'll be back to you. I'll play some music for you. Okay. Yes, I'm Pastor Paul Begley.
There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When I hear that trumpet sound, I'm gonna get up out of the ground. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Look way down the river. What do you think you see? I see a band of angels, and they're coming after me. Well, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Look down yonder, Gabriel. Put your feet on the land and see. Gabriel, don't blow that trumpet until you hear from me. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, meet me, Jesus, meet me. Meet me in the middle of the air. And if these wings don't fail me, I'll meet you anywhere. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, meet me, mother and father, down by the river road. Mama, you know I'll be there. I'm a-checking in my load. Well, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Oh, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down.
That's it.
There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When I hear that trumpet sound, I'm gonna get up out of the ground. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Look way down the river. What do you think you see? I see a band of angels, and they're coming after me. Well, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Look down yonder, Gabriel. Put your feet on the land and see. Gabriel, don't blow that trumpet until you hear from me. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, meet me, Jesus, meet me. Meet me in the middle of the air. And if these wings don't fail me, I'll meet you anywhere. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, meet me, mother and father, down by the river road. Mama, you know I'll be there. I'm a-checking in my load. Well, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. No, there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Oh,
What?
there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down.
Sorry about having to play that song twice, but the call lasted a little long, but it had to do with the Israel trip, okay? Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to talk about the rest of this here. We do have this prophecy alert, so we're going to go to Revelation chapter 6, but Yeah, just real quick on that Israel trip. I messed up yesterday when the number I gave you and everything was correct, but the agency was not ready for your calls. They hadn't assigned a person for me, and they're just freaked out because they got overwhelmed with people wanting to go to Israel. So I was just on the phone with them saying, okay, Mr. Begley, we hear you loud and clear. Here's who your person is that you're going to be coordinating with. We're going to set this up for you. Tell the people just relax, and we're going to set it up to where they can even do it online. Okay. So guys, give me another day and I should come back to you tomorrow with some more clear direction. It's my bad. I jumped the gun, but I got everybody moving. Okay. So I got everybody moving. All right, guys, let me tell you what's going on. Go with me right now to the book of Revelation, because you start talking about what's happening in Sri Lanka, which is horrific. And here's what it says. The black horsemen, there's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, for those who may not know. There's the white horse, which is the horse that conquers. It's a world conqueror, which I believe is the New World Order, or the one world government, or the beast kingdom, as we call it in the Bible, led by the Antichrist and the false prophet. And they come to rule the world. They come riding a white horse to conquering and to conquer. It's followed by what's called a red horse, which I also believe is already galloping. And that red horse is galloping, bringing to the world, it's the horse of war. And it takes peace from the earth. And it has to cause people to kill one another, and it brings with it a great sword or a great weapon. Okay, I believe that horse is galloping right now as well. Third is the black horse, which is, I believe, the horse of the economy. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. And the fourth horse is the pale horse, which is the horse of death and hell that follows with it. It is the horse of disease, of plagues, of pestilences, of hunger, famine, even the beast of the earth turning on humanity in its total state of hell on earth. That's the fourth horse. But the third is the black horse. And let me read to you what it says about the black horse. If you go to Revelation 6, verse 5, and when he opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand, like scales, okay, balances. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now, as some of you know, I just explained, a bale of hay was $4 a bale. It's now $25 a bale. And the grain to feed the cattle with, a bag of grain, was $6. It's now $24. So the wheat and the barley, or the grains. Well, where is the wheat and barley grown? It's grown in Ukraine and Russia. That's where at least about 30% of the world's wheat and grain is grown. And it's in a war zone now. Also, food processing plants are burning down everywhere. Over 100 of them have in the last 3 months. Wheat fields have been set on fire in Turkey as a terroristic attack on humanity. And Sri Lanka is collapsed completely. India is wondering if they're going to have enough food to feed their people this year, and so is China. And countries are starting to hoard what they have. In America, the inflation rate has caused like I said, the wheat and the barley, the grains, to go so high that it's too high it's going to be outrageous to feed the cattle. And that means the price of the cattle is going to go 4 times higher than it is right now. 4 times higher. That means farmers won't even be able to afford to feed the cattle, for they're fearful that by the time the cow is raised and ready, then all of a sudden the market changes and drops out, and they're done. So a lot of small farmers are just not going to raise any cattle for a year. That means the total number of cattle is going to be way less being raised. And those that are being raised are being fed with, it's costing 4 times more to feed them. That means the price of ground beef, the price of beef, the price of pork, the price of chickens will go through the roof. Plus, there'll be a limited supply of it, which will even make it cost more due to supply and demand. And with inflation, tack on another 8 or 9% on top of that. So just basically, the very wealthy will be able to afford meat. Everyone else is going to have to look for meat substitutes. They're going to turn and they're going to go looking for cans of sardines, cans of tuna, cans of Spam, jars of peanut butter, which there's already a shortage of that right now. Beans, and more beans. And the prices of all of these things will go up. And do you have a clue what the price of milk will do if there's less cattle and the cost to feed them is 4 times more? Then you can look for a gallon of milk to cost you $15 a gallon or more a year from now. And okay. And a rotisserie chicken just 3 months ago, the average price was $4.99 for a rotisserie chicken that you grab and take it home for dinner. It's now $8 a chicken, but it will be $25 a chicken by this time next year. So this is what I'm saying. Mike Around the World predicted. He told us this about 4 years ago. Actually, he told us this, I know exactly when, 3 months before the pandemic hit. He said, Pastor, food shortages are coming. You won't be able to get the normal food items that you like. Name brands will disappear. Plus, there'll be less of it on the shelves. Prices will go through the roof, and people will have to look for substitutes to eat. And Spam will be the #1 selling meat product in the world. Spam, and more Spam. Green eggs and Spam. And get this, he said that, and then he said in November of 2019, he said, oh, by the way, millions of people are going to die in China. And I'm like, why? What? Just listen to me, he said. It's about to happen. And it did. It broke loose by March of 2020. The pandemic hit. And we went through 2020. We went through 2021. Here we are halfway through 2022. Everybody's trying to get back to normal. But now we're in an inflation, global inflation, because whatever happens to America just ripples across the world. And third world countries run out of food first. Sri Lanka is collapsing. People are starving. There's no gas. The electricity's in blackouts. And the army's now starting to shoot people in the street because people are starting to protest. More, not just protest, riot, converging on stores, looting. This thing's out of control, guys. It's off the rails. And this is just the beginning of others and many. So having said that, right now, America could still turn this thing around. America has the capability to turn this thing around. But we got to start drilling, baby drill. We got to start cranking out so much oil that the prices drop drastically. If the price of oil drops, then the price to transport the oil drops, and then the prices of the food start to drop. But it's still going to take time. You're not going to turn the Titanic in a day. We didn't get here in a day, and we won't fix it overnight. And so we're in for the next 2.5 years, guys. I can't even tell you. But I'm going to be asking Mike from around the world tonight, basically, is America going to collapse like Sri Lanka? What should we expect? I'm going to throw out some of these statistics. I want to know what's happening. and then we take it from there. Mike from around the world will be with me tonight. I will be in the Salvation Station in the studio over there. Air conditioning just got installed. It's working beautiful. I was just over there a few minutes ago. That means there's air conditioning, and not only in the studio, but in the control room and in Rachel's heart. Beautiful. And that's good for those of you who are coming Saturday, because the ordination service, we're ordaining, and also the concert will take place in Rachel's heart, and that'll be air conditioned, and so that's nice because we're expecting about 88 degrees Saturday, so that's fine. It's fine. We can handle it. So it's going to be a great day. Please come Saturday. The party, it's Summer Fire, and it's from 2 to 8, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, West Lafayette, Indiana. Okay. Like I said, I was just on the phone with the travel agency for the Israeli trip. Don't call today. You guys woke them up, and they called me and said, whoa, okay. We're assigning a person just for you. We're gonna walk you through it tomorrow, Pastor. You'll be able to show people how to go to the website and how to sign up for the Israel trip, because you got so many people that we don't have enough staff to answer the phone. And I said, okay, we'll do it that way. And they're a big travel agency, a big one. Okay. So, wow. Okay. I mean, most of your major ministries use it. So the big guys. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Give your life to Jesus Christ. The Black Horseman is galloping. The Black Horseman is galloping. Just the question is he riding through America yet? Are you saved? See you tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern with Mike from around the world.